All right, hello everyone. We want to welcome you. Thank you to all the volunteers, all of you who are committed to serving the community, helping Frontline Mission, being able to reach those in the community, to give encouragement and to give hope, especially during this season. And that's what this video really is all about. It's wanting to equip you, the volunteer, with the tools and the resources necessary in order for you to step into Thanksgiving Day ready, equipped, and prepared to be able to serve the community. And so I just want to overview some of the things that we'll be talking about in today's video. So after this, we're going to hear from Stacy, and she's going to go over some of the volunteer procedures, what you can expect, and what we're asking for of volunteers. So Stacy will share that. After that, we'll share a little bit about the event overview and the layout. What does it look like the day of this event? What are you walking into, and what can you expect, and kind of go over some of those logistical details of the entire event. After that, we're going to hear from Dawn, and Dawn is going to share about the importance of dignity and respect, and how important that is, how it's a part of the culture of Frontline Mission, and so we'll hear from Dawn sharing on that. After Dawn shares, we're going to have a segment just sharing a little bit on social distancing and the safety practices that we'll be going into, and Tyler's going to share on some of those issues here. After that, we're going to hear a special message from Frontline Mission Executive Director Amber Hebert. After Amber shares a little bit to us in this video, that's really when we're going to come to a close. This video is not going to be too long. It's going to be pretty concise. We're going to try to keep it pretty focused on what the important things are to make sure that you're ready to go for Thanksgiving Day. And so at the close of the video, we'll of course take questions in the comment section that we'll try to answer as diligently as we can. And so just sit back. If others in your family are going to be volunteering as well, wouldn't it be a bad idea to grab them, pull them in, and watch this video together. And so as we continue, just want to introduce to you our volunteer coordinator, Stacy, and she's going to share a little bit about volunteer procedures and practices for this event.
Hi, my name is Stacy Lobdell, and I'm the volunteer coordinator at Frontline Mission. I have just a few things to go over to get you ready for Thanksgiving Day. First of all, you are extremely important to this process, and without you, we simply couldn't do it. So thank you very much. The first thing you can expect over this next week and a couple days is a phone call. We want to make sure that you are screened properly for any health concerns. You'll also get a link to a document as well, so be prepared for that. On the day of Thanksgiving, we're going to have you arrive on time. At the front door, you will be greeted with someone taking your temperature, just so you're prepared. Once inside the door, you will be filling out a short registration and be getting a t-shirt. Once you are ready and all prepared to volunteer, you will be escorted to the area that you signed up to work in. And during this whole time, we're going to maintain social distancing. You will be wearing your mask. We'll have plenty of gloves. And then once you start volunteering, you will just follow your set schedule. And anyone who is there volunteering can certainly take home a meal and just enjoy the day with us. Don't forget, you will be receiving a phone call concerning our health screening. And if you have any questions, just put it in the comments and we will follow up with you. Thank you, and look forward to seeing you.
All right, so let's go over some of the layout and procedures that you can expect on the day of Thanksgiving. So we're going to go ahead and pull up the parking lot map. And as you see this parking lot map, there's going to be, of course, the drive-through layout that's going to happen. And then there's going to be also parking that you as a volunteer will be parking at. And so where you see the black dot with the red letter 3 in it, that's the general area where you, the volunteer, will come in. If you can see the first entrance to the Menard Sports Center, that is not going to be an entrance for this event. We're going to use that only as an exit. So when you come to volunteer on the day of Thanksgiving, go ahead and go to that second entrance. If you're coming from the Parks Highway, that second entrance, and instead of taking a right into the large parking lot, you'll take a left into the skinnier parking lot, and that's where the volunteers will park at the front of the building. Past years, we've had volunteers park in the back of the building and come in that way. But because there is no sit-down meals offered this year, and because we don't want you as a volunteer to wait in line behind those who may be already in line to get their meal, we're gonna just have you, the volunteer, park in the front of the building in that stretch of parking lot directly in front of the building. And so as you come in, go ahead, take a park, grab your face masks, that sort of thing, and then you can head out to the front entrance, and that's where you'll be met by our volunteers who are already there to kind of give you the rundown and kind of direct you, get you to the right place. And so for those who are coming as guests, you can kind of see where the arrows are going to be coming in the same entrance as you, but instead of turning left into that little parking lot area, they're going to start going right into a larger parking lot area. And there'll be people, as you can see, the little purple dots spread periodically. Those are the parking lot attendants. So some of you listening are helping out in the parking lot. Thank you for being a part of that. And that's not necessarily a fun job, being out in the cold, but it's really important for the whole event, making sure that it goes smoothly, that we have volunteers in the parking lot who are ready to help. And so as guests come, it's going to turn into a double lane. And there's going to be some back and forth, as you can see, through the parking lot. And we do that for this event to make sure that in case there's a large number of cars that come at a short period of time, maybe early on during the event, that there's plenty of room for those cars to be in line, to split into two lines, and so that it doesn't back out into the street or anything like that, especially early on. As you can see, those two arrows represent the two lanes going side by side, and those lanes will be separated by traffic cones, and parking lot attendants will help with that. Then as we come towards around the back end of the building that you can see, those two lanes are going to merge into one. If you live in Wasilla, you'd be maybe familiar with the McDonald's drive-through line. It's kind of a similar idea to what they do there. Of course, it's a little different on a larger scale. But those two lanes are going to become one lane, and you'll head towards, or the guest will head towards the back side of the building. As guests wait in line, we understand that it's going to take a little bit of time if there's a lot of cars for the person in the back to be able to get to the front. So those of you who are helping on the drinks crew, this is a really important job. You'll be going out kind of the main, what used to be the main entrance for volunteers on that back side, those couple of double-sided glass doors. You'll be going through there, and you'll be getting coffee to people who are waiting in line already, just to make the experience for the patrons who come more enjoyable, more friendly, more welcoming. Since we're limited to not being able to sit down at all, we want to make sure that they're not just getting a meal, but they really want to be greeted with, a hot drink to have, something nice. And so those who are part of the drink crew, they'll come out, get it to them, and they'll continue past that. And then on the back side of the kitchen in the Menard Center, if you're familiar with the layout of the Menard Center at all, get kind of that top right corner of the building, that is where meals are going to be going out. So there'll be a carry-out crew getting boxed meals to every car that comes through. Once the patron receives that, then they'll take an exit out the back end where it says exit only, and they'll take it home or to wherever they're going. For those who maybe don't have a car, walk up is definitely welcome. So those who maybe don't have access to a car and they choose to walk that day, that's no problem. We're going to serve them as well. And others can also be sent on behalf of someone. So some may have a neighbor, some may have someone that they're kind of looking out after. And it's totally okay for those people when they come through a line to pick up a meal for somebody else. It doesn't have to be for them. For a lot of people, they're vulnerable, and we want to make sure that they're taken care of and looked out for. Or maybe they just have trouble and don't have access to transportation. And so it's okay, it's no problem for somebody to come through and pick up a meal for somebody else. All right, and so that is the general layout of the parking lot. And next we're going to go to the floor layout, and we'll talk a little bit about that. So you can see as the floor layout, I'm going to draw your attention to the top right corner where it says enter. That's where you as a volunteer, you're going to get screened. Stacy mentioned before, there's going to be that initial paperwork that you have turned in already. But when you come, your temperature will be checked at the door by kind of a radar sort of gun that just passes through the air. There's no contact that's made in order to check your temperature. And then we'll sign off to make sure that the health questionnaire that you filled out is still current, still up to date, and nothing has changed with that. After you've gone through that, we'll make sure that you have your Frontline Mission t-shirt, that you're good to go, that you're wearing your masks, gloves, that sort of thing, and we'll get you to the right area in which you're volunteering. So those who are helping at the volunteer table, they're a huge help for this event and really go a long ways in making this possible. And so as you can see, I'll draw your attention to the top left corner. There's a little blue table that's represented there by that top left corner where it says exit. And so right next to that red exit icon, you can see this blue table icon right next to it. That is for those who are serving those hot drinks out the door. That's meant to be served before the guests get to the food part of it. Maybe they're waiting in line. And so those who are part of the drinks crew, you'll be able to walk and serve people while they're waiting in line before the food part even happens. As you can kind of see, there's a few pieces on this layout. It may not be quite this way. We may make some changes and adjustments leading up in the days ahead. But this is the general idea. This is kind of really what you should expect. As you can see, there's going to be 3 or 4 lines where you as a server can go through the assembly line. And to make sure that we incorporate social distancing, where even among volunteers, even though you have face masks and gloves, that you're still keeping the 6 feet apart whenever possible. And so what we'll do is there'll be different lines with X's on the floor about 6 feet apart, and you'll stand on them if this is your role, and you'll go through these lines. And what you'll do is you'll have a container, You'll fill up the container with menu items. You'll shut it, you'll close it, and then right when you're towards that last item on the hot table, those brown table icons are representative of hot tables, if I didn't make that clear. So once you get to the end, kind of to that last portion, that's when the next person in line then begins. And then as you finish up that last item, you walk to this orange table, which is where all of the meals are being bagged and assembled. Make sure that they get the right number of food boxes are getting to the vehicles present. And as you can see, there's a double arrow in the bottom left corner. There's a little red arrow. It's a right angle with pointing towards that orange table and one pointing towards out of the page on the bottom left. Now where that's pointing on the bottom left corner of the page, that is an exit off of the soccer field into the parking lot, and that is the main exit where guests are going to be able to receive their food. And so those of you who are part of the carry-out team will walk out that bottom left corner of the screen, walk out that door after you get it from that orange table. After you get the meal, you'll bring it out. Some will also make sure that any pies or additional items also go out at the same time and that it's taken care of. And that's the whole idea. That's the picture. As you can see, there's kind of towards the middle of the left side, there's an icon that says kitchen window. And that is an opening between the soccer field, the floor, and the kitchen. And there'll be some volunteers who are also in the kitchen making sure that the food is ready to be a replacement when the dishes run low. when the containers, large containers of food, pans of containers, if you will, of food on the hot tables run low, it's a job of those in the kitchen to constantly make sure that those lines are fed so that the line doesn't slow down and that it's just a constant flow of volunteers going through, making the meal in the box and putting it on the table, looping back around and getting back in line again. So it's kind of fun. This will be a change. This will be a little different than what we've done before, but we're excited, and we know that with your help, we'll be able to do this in a really effective way. And so that's the layout of the floor. That's what you can expect. And of course, as mentioned before, there's going to be point people. If you're in carryout, Ivy Claywood is your point person that you're going to find, and that she's going to kind of tell you what to do. And then for another person, if you're on parking lot details, a guy named Dylan, he's going to be the point person out in the parking lot. I want to reference a couple other areas. If you're part of the assembly line, you're making the meal, you're going through the line, Andrea is going to kind of be the point person with you. Ray and Randall are a couple other people that if you don't see Andrea, if she's not available, Ray and Randall will also be in the area working primarily with the food in the kitchen, making sure everything's flowing really well with that. Elaine Hollinger is going to be the primary person in charge of the drinks crew. And so that's kind of really what you can expect. That's the person who you can go to. And she's going to need help very early. Of course, refer to the time slots that you signed up for to make sure that you're showing up not when the event necessarily begins, but when your volunteer shift begins. That way we can make sure that everyone who's committed to being there is there. All right, and so that's the overview of the parking lot and the floor layout, kind of giving you an idea of what to expect and what it's going to look like. Actual meals, again, will be served from 10 till 2, Thanksgiving Day, November 26th, at the Menard Center. So from 10 to 2, those are the official times of when meals are going to be served.
My name's Don Hauk, and I'm the food distribution coordinator. In the past, when we first started up Frontline Mission, it was always our intent that all people would be served as people. We never had taken the idea that they were a number, that they would be treated with disrespect, and that's always been our focus. The people that we see will be maybe not necessarily look like you. They won't be the people that you would normally see, but they're still a human being. They still deserve your respect, and treat them with dignity. And that also applies to the people that you're working with. Maybe somebody alongside of you doesn't smell so good, or something like that. But that's okay. And in other words, they're a human being, and that's the way they are. And we would accept them as the way they are, and we can't change them for anything that we would want to do. And so I would hope that you would not have any problems with that, and that you would be able to treat all people with the respect and dignity that they deserve. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tyler Bowman. I'm the Communications and Technology Coordinator here at Frontline Mission. So I'll be talking about some of the safety guidelines that are implemented for the Thanksgiving dinner at Menard Center, and how you as a volunteer can help maintain the safety and health of all of our volunteers and patrons at the event. So the safety guidelines include all of our volunteers are required to wear masks properly, covering their nose and mouth. We are asking all volunteers to social distance as much as possible, and we'll have markings on the floor to help you keep that 6-foot distance. We'll require all volunteers to wear gloves, and we'll have hand washing stations and sanitizer throughout the building. So anytime that you feel like your gloves were contaminated, go ahead and take those off, wash your hands, and put on a new pair of gloves. We'll be asking all of our volunteers to complete a screening questionnaire that will be sent to you in this email. So you'll complete that questionnaire and then sign an acknowledgement that all of your answers are current on November 26th. We'll also be conducting temperature checks of all volunteers at the door. So those are all of the safety guidelines. Thank you for your time and watching this video.
Hello and welcome. I'm Amber Hebert. I am the Executive Director here at Frontline Mission. Can you believe that it's already Thanksgiving? I sure can't. This year has been so crazy, and each season has come and gone in a way that makes it seem so unreal. And during this season of our lives, an uncertain time in our lives and our country, it is more important than ever that we come together and support and care for one another. I just want to thank you so much for being here, for being willing to give of your time and your energy to care for our friends and neighbors, those who need not only a hot meal, but also genuine care and support from another human being and a sense of hope in this uncertain future. We are such a resilient people, aren't we? Look at what we've already come through this year, the ways that we've adapted and changed and continued on with our lives. I think it has truly brought us to a place of thinking about what is important, what we are really thankful for, what we need to be spending our time and energy on. Volunteering is a two-way blessing. Not only are you blessing those you are serving, but also you will receive a blessing, and that blessing really multiplies as it goes out from our Thanksgiving event into our community. Again, I just want to say thank you so much for coming together as a Mat-Su Valley community, for putting into action what it means to be stronger together. Blessings to you and your families during this holiday season. May you find peace and hope in the months to come. And again, thank you so much.
All right, we hope this video has been helpful. I hope you feel equipped and ready to go for Thanksgiving dinner. Thank you again for volunteering, choosing to take time out of your busy schedule in order to make a difference in the life of somebody in the community. It really means a lot to us at Frontline Mission that you would choose to volunteer and choose to show compassion. So don't forget, if you have any questions, if there were some things that we didn't cover in this video that are unclear to you, go ahead and leave a comment in the section below, and we'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Don't forget, we need a health questionnaire filled out by everybody. You can probably expect a phone call here pretty soon as well if you're signing up, and then on the day of, we'll just go through those procedures again. So thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of this. This is a huge blessing that you would be a part of the team here, and we can't say thank you enough. So leave your comments in the comment section, and we'll see you at Thanksgiving.